Da-na-na-na-na-na. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Predator Retrospective. This is the retrospective for Predator 2. I am King Willie Trasnell, and I'm joined by...
El Scorpio, Kirklin Batzer.
I'm the Rush Hour Rambo, Taylor Field.
Taylor. I'm surprised you didn't take El Scorpio.
I was surprised too. I had it in my notes, but I'm like, oh, there's gonna be two people. I'm gonna enter the room. Both of you guys are gonna have it.
No, it's good, but it's too branded for me. I like Bill Paxton's a highlight for me in this movie, and it was one of my favorite one-liners he drops.
Bill Paxton, who in this movie, at the age of 42, is described as kid, which I got a good giggle out of. Danny Glover kept referring to him as kid, and I looked at over Emily. I'm like, not saying he's old. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton, you make a list of the top 10 greatest character actors in the world, he's on there. That guy fucking delivered in every movie he was in. It only got to be killed by the Terminator, a Xenomorph, and a Predator. Very great honor and stuff, but like, he always delivers 100%. But when Danny Glover called him kid, I'm like, kid,
He's
like,
the Lone
not...
Ranger. That's what he is.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything with he's referring to his age here. I'm like, kid. I'm like, okay, I looked this up, and I was like, he was 42 during this movie. And granted, Danny Glover's like 9 years older than them, but kid, and like they were trying to play him up as like a young, hot shot guy, and kind of did that. But when he was 42, I'm like, no, man, like you still got a little crow's feet there. But yeah, I got a good giggle out of that. And maybe we'll get a giggle out of GeekVerse podcast, because that's what we do. Taylor, where can they find us?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter, and GeekVerse is our Facebook. Sorry, I paused because I was trying to think, how could I work in like, hey, surveillance is my specialty. I was trying to work that in, but I couldn't pull it off. It's one of Bill
You're just thinking
Paxton's
about
lines.
that sex scene that we got the ultra zoom into, you know?
Oh my god. I'm
Hey,
like, who
zoom
predator?
in,
Like,
this is
what
my
predator is about to
specialty.
be revealed here? No, it's just a woman
Oh!
ferociously boning. Yeah. And I wasn't expecting titties either. That was wild. What a wild scene that followed.
I don't care. We're going in and out, right?
Yeah, we're diving.
Links down below. You know where to find us. We're putting out a bunch of content, everything like that. We want to talk about this fucking movie and everything like that. Patrons, let's get our brand out there for the people. Where are you? Where are our lovely patrons? Everyone that's listening, thank you. All the patrons, thank you. And a big thank you to the producer tiers, Aaron Brain, April Darkness, Carl Ritchie, Small Bigs, and Joshua Wright. And yeah, I'm very excited to talk about Joshua Wright's retrospective, because when you join the Phase 4 tier, you get to pick a retrospective, and he's picked the Mr. Fantastic Fox, or I always keep saying the Fantastic Mr. Fox. So that's
I've
what
never
we're gonna be
seen that. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, so in August we're gonna be doing that for him, and you can go pick your movie there. But tonight we're talking about Predator 2. So we'll put the sex scene aside, because we're definitely gonna jump to that right away. What I will say about this movie, because I feel like I'm probably the most down on it, but I'm not down on it. I still would. I don't know if it's a 6 or 7, still would pass it. But I think the differences between Predator and Predator 2 is they both kind of feel a little bit like a B movie, right? Like a monster action, just monster versus man, gun-toting, girls, swearing, big muscles, stuff like that. They have all these, cool moments. I feel like the first Predator is when you can see what happens when like a B movie monster movie is directed by like a great director, and this is when it's directed by a not so great director. And this feels it's a 1997 movie, which is crazy because this is only 2 years away from The Matrix. It does not feel like it's that close. This feels more like an 80s movie than The Predator does, in my opinion, as far as like the quality of it. It feels so cheesy. But the thing is, what I have with this movie, it's just fun. It's a good time. It is in all those classics. I feel like Taylor, you could like Kirklin too, but I feel like Taylor more so because we're big like fans of a lot of horror franchises like Michael Myers and Jason. This definitely feels like those later sequels in those franchises where it's just like we're just gonna put Jason on a boat, go to New York, and he's gonna cause mayhem, right? And even then, the first Predator doesn't have that many storylines, but it has a little, interlinking story, has some great characters, and I think there's some entertaining characters here. It just does feel 100% like this is always the lesser than of the first one, where like when we get to Predators, you can't even compare. You can obviously we'll rank them at the end, but you can't compare Predator to Predators because they're such different movies and stuff. Mm-hmm. This just literally like we're gonna do a very similar movie, but put it in New York City, the concrete jungle, stuff like that. So I enjoy the movie. I had a lot of fun. I think we're going to have a lot of fun this retrospective, but you can definitely feel like it is a step down from the other one. And this is honestly, I think, maybe like the third time I've only seen this movie. And I think, do you guys ever remember back in the day on satellite TV, there was something called like the Horror Channel or like the Horror Network, and they would just play like animated or they just would play like horror and like horror sci-fi movies, horror movies. Have you ever heard of this? It was just Canada exclusive, or no? So my grandma's the one
I
with that
kept thinking
channel.
that you said like the horror channel. I'm like, I think I had access to some of those channels at a certain.
Well, that
age,
was
but-
that. Yeah, that one of the scenes was from that too. That building scene we're going to talk about. That's in the Horror Channel for sure. But the Horror Channel, yeah.
AB
So
repeat, boys. You know.
yeah,
you know about
AB.
that?
Oh, a lot of boys were AB repeating Predator too. Like, oh, Mom, I want that for Christmas. Like, fuck. Like, the Arnold movie didn't have some girl getting raped. Like, and like, so here's the funny thing about that story. Quickly, is I was watching this while the girls were around, but they were off in the kitchen playing stuff because I knew what this movie was gonna be. And even the first Predator, there's some violence, but it's not that bad. You don't see the Predator. The kills are very quick. So I'm like, okay. And as I was referring to, I think this is my third, maybe second time full way through seeing this, because I don't know where I am when we do the rank. Actually, I think I know now. But at the time, I would always rank this last. It's like I didn't want to return to that much. I like Danny Glover. I like Bill Paxton, but I didn't have much reason to. But I had forgot a lot of this movie. And when they started on this building scene and this woman's just getting railed, like, well, actually, she's not getting railed. She's doing the railing. And just the idea of it starts on the long, it's like the Dark Knight when the Joker's robbing the bank. It starts on the longest zoom away. And it zooms in like 3 times in the buildings before you can actually see the woman riding this man. And then they just go a hard cam. I just said to Emma, like, look at this. She's like, yeah, I'm not doing that, because like this woman's doing is not sex. She looks like she's physically attacking this man. Like, it's that classic where her hips are, there's no penis there. She is just like thrusting herself into the guy's stomach, but she is like full. It's a full porn scene. That whole, and even when they stop it, it's full frontal, like, and that's where this just feels so like just so even more B-rate, like straight to DVD type of one. So I enjoy my time with it, but it's nowhere near the greatness of the first one. I know we're going to talk about that scene more, but I just had to tell my and because the second was that once they went in the building, I hit the pause button, and my watching the Predator 2 was over until the kids were asleep, because I did not know how, and I was glad because it got worse from there, that scene. But right when I say, oh, what are they zooming in on, and you hear some stuff, and then you say like, okay, nope, this is over, I'll wait till later. But that was my experience with Predator 2. Kirk and Patzer.
Yeah, I think this is the first time I've seen this movie, honestly.
Wow.
A lot of it, was surprising. It said 1997 at the beginning, but I was shocked that this actually came out in 1990. It was just like, it was doing that 7 years in advance thing.
Is it actually?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
On
I didn't
IMDb,
even
it
look at
says
that. That makes me
1990,
feel
yeah.
better. That makes me feel better then. This is not 2 years from The Matrix then. Okay,
Yeah.
I feel better. It feels closer to an 80s movie, and now that explains it's only 1 year away. So you know what? Okay, thank you, Kirklin, for that knowledge. I did not know that.
But still, it like 7 years in the future, like why that?
Odd choice.
Just because, like, I don't know. Like, was the 90s, they had some gang violence maybe, and then they just predicted that, oh, let's just say in 7 years it's gonna be Fallout War and there's gonna be predators and stuff. I don't know, but nonetheless, yeah. So Predator 1, I had seen like maybe on TV and didn't really remember much of the movie, but I know that I'd seen it. This one I definitely hadn't seen, and I was very, very surprised because I didn't look up like any screenshots or anything. I didn't know if Arnie was in it or whatnot. So I went in extremely blind, and it made it very, very fun because it starts and it's like on the ground, like jungle music basically. So I'm like, okay, where's Arnie? You know, like, does this start off right with him? And then it just goes to like Los Angeles, 1997. I'm like, oh, okay, like this like this is completely different. And then the radio's like, and I'm not gonna detail the whole movie, but right at the beginning it's just like, oh yeah, Los Angeles is having a record high heat temperature. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is why the Predator's here.
Prime positioning for the Predator.
And like, man, the first like 10 minutes, like we were talking about quickly in the chat today, but man, first 10 minutes of this movie, what a ride that was. Like, first of all, great budget on like the pyrotechnics and just car explosions. Like, there was so much going on in the first 5 minutes of this, but in my opinion, it looked really good, but absolute chaos. You have El Scorpio just take that line. Fuck, I love that gift, Taylor, that you dropped in the chat today of him just doing the line and just having that like psycho look, like ready to go. Holy
That actor
shit.
came to play. He was there. Like, he did not phone it in.
And that probably wasn't even like fake cocaine. That was the real deal with his reaction.
No,
most likely.
1990, these people
Yeah.
were fucked. Like Danny Glover when he's covered at the end, that's real coke. They just got that.
Yeah.
He walked on the set and they're like, yeah, just use this. Like,
But yeah, so all in all though, I had a really fun time watching this movie. I think I'm pretty positive on it, and I don't know if it's because I was able to really enjoy the cheesy stuff. Like when we were talking about the first Predator, I was saying how, yeah, it's cheesy, but I feel like what makes it cheesy is that this was like the first big cheesy movie like this that like kind of just set where we are now. People like make fun of movies like what the Predator was, but like on its own, like that was just so groundbreaking. You have Arnie in his prime, like just dropping those one-liners, like when he throws the knife and just, yeah, like slice, I don't remember what it was specifically, but it's like slice it around or something like that. And it was more of that, but in a different setting. I think on paper, I liked what was going on. I liked the idea of having a predator in the urban jungle, concrete jungle, as you were mentioning, Travis. I think it was all really fun. Definitely has problems. Not a perfect movie by any means. I think the Predator himself looked really good, like in this movie, especially in the last one. What year was it? 1980. Does anybody? I'll look it up.
I think it's 80. I think it's 84, isn't it?
84. Yeah, like it
Or
seemed
no,
like they.
it's 86. I think it's 86 maybe.
I can look it up, but what do we say? 87. There you go. You were close.
Damn it.
I don't know. Like
God
they just the practical like costume of the Predator looked really good in my opinion, especially jumping from the last movie. The invisibility is still not quite where we are in tech. Like
No, that was their
nowadays,
hardest thing to narrow down.
but like I think it's maybe better than the first one, but maybe not because it was shown a little bit less in the first one, which gives it that intensity. But like a little bit more of his gadgets. Like I think all the stuff with the Predator was raised in this movie for me, whether it was him like hanging the bodies and stuff like that stuff was really good. So all in all, like I actually really enjoyed it. I'm excited to talk about definitely some characters like Bill Paxton's character. Man, some of the lines he was dropping, I had to just stop writing them down because I was writing down like some of these like quotable moments that he was having. I'm like, this is just like everything he says is like a joke and like just this really cheesy quote thing. Or like in the first movie, how you had that one dude dropping like just dirty jokes, or when he was talking about like his girlfriend's vagina and how it was like echoing. Like it seemed like Bill Paxton was kind of like that character, just he had a little bit more than the throwaway character. But I'll pass it to Taylor because I was rambling there. But did I feel?
Oh yeah, so this movie is it's definitely a classic like memory for me, nostalgia wise, because I remember when I didn't want to get into the aliens yet, but I was talking to my dad like, let's get into the Predators, like I want to know about it because my dad used to tell me about them. And so got into the first movie, that was great, and then the second one was already out, so okay, let's get into the second one, and went to the movie store, rented it, and I think it was for my birthday. I was still pretty young. We rented on VHS specifically, and
Dude, oh my gosh. Sorry.
Yeah, that was.
I'm getting giddy for your story.
That was just wild because it's so different from the first one in terms of like what's going on. Because yeah, this woman's just going full animal on this.
We watch as a
on this
family. That was
dude.
what I was waiting for you.
Just
to
me
say.
and my dad. Just me and my dad. No.
He's like, what
This
do you
is
think
what
of that,
caused.
son?
Yeah,
My
this
parents
is
are
what caused
split
Taylor's
at this
parents
point.
to separate this movie.
Yeah.
Taylor's dad was like, "We got
He
a great
wanted to show
movie."
it to me. My
Yeah.
mom didn't want me to see it, so they split. They divorced.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it has so many things in it that I really really love. But for me, it's not comparable like to the first one. It's definitely below it. I'd have to say that. It's granted, but
I thought. Sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say a thought that I had while watching it was like because I like the idea of the concrete jungle, I feel like it would have fit more if this was like the fourth Predator. Like when you have like the
Well, they
Friday
do that
13th?
in the fourth Predator.
Okay, well I don't know about that one.
No,
But-
you've seen the fourth Predator. It's called the Predator.
Oh, the Predator. Yeah.
That's the fourth one, and it's
That's
back
like
in
suburban. Okay, fair enough.
I
Yes,
guess
yes,
so.
yes.
I guess so. But we saw
But-
it just because they're back in the movie or the town doesn't mean we're getting good stuff.
Like Taylor was saying though, is like the first one is just it's so hard to compete with because that first concept of just like the jungle and like these guerrilla or like Vietnam type fighters, like they just really fit what that first Predator was. Whereas I felt like it was just a big jump to all of a sudden just go to Los Angeles. In the second movie, I was gonna compare it to like Friday the 13th when Jason's just all of a sudden like in New York randomly, like he's not.
We talked about that when you're chasing after Marco. Yeah.
Okay, yes, But yeah, sorry. It was just a thought
It's
that
a
I had
valid
while I was
point.
watching. Yeah, I was just like, I feel like this should have happened later. Like, I feel like maybe I should have had some more jungle combat, but I don't know.
The the whole beginning part of this movie, like again, I like how they set it up. Like, oh, we're gonna get back into the Amazon, the jungle, whatnot, because they show you like the forest, the music, and all of a sudden, like, boom, they show you the city, and I got excited because I thought, wow, this is cool. Like, yeah, concrete jungle, like, this is great, gang wars and everything. What's up?
I just imagine the one person that had no idea about this movie, like, fuck, we're going back to jungle, hell yeah. And then it just switches to Los Angeles, and you're like, fuck. Like, I thought we were
In a
getting
good
another-
way, in a good way though.
Yeah, well,
That
no,
was literally-
yeah, yeah.
That was my
But,
reaction, but without like a positive or negative. It's just like, oh, this is what we're doing here.
And finally, in 2020, after what the one came out in 1987, nearing like 40 years, we're finally going back to like a jungle type predator versus a group. And I guess you can kind of count predators, but I don't, because that's on a fucking planet of predators. So it's like that's very sci-fi. Where this next one, like, it's kind of weird that Prey. It took all this time, and we're actually kind of going back to like a jungle wooded area with no, like, we're going back there. And look how long it took to get back there. You think they would have done that already, and they hadn't. So
Right.
Yeah, well, they did it in different ways. Like AVP 2 specifically had a
those
lot
don't
of
count.
that.
Those don't count.
Had
Those are
canon,
not
canon.
canon. Those aren't canon.
Those
They-
are
every
canon.
ti-
No, those are canon officially. The Predator officially indoctrinates into canon.
What does that mean? The Predator indoctrinate into canon.
The Predator had Easter eggs in there that directly tie into AVP's timeline.
Oh, really?
Officially bring it
Is
in.
there, like,
I swear,
Xenomorph stuff? I
I
don't
thought we
remember.
talked about, like, before the director was like, yeah, that those movies aren't to do with this one.
This isn't spoiler, but in the Predator, when you see the display case, you see the actual spear that the Predator and AVP made for the survivor, humans, the
Yeah.
chick, yeah. So it ties into that timeline.
I can't wait till we get to those
We'll get
movies.
to that.
Once we
It'll
do
be so good.
Alien and then these, and you know what? Because Disney owns them both. Fucking run it back. Let's give us a third AVP. Give the
Why not?
I
let's
need
fucking
it.
do it. Let's do
Oh.
it. Let's get fucking wild here. And you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna do it in a fucking comic book, and that's the best you'll get. But Disney, come on, put on fucking
Yeah.
Hulu. Let's go. Let's stop fucking around.
So, the level of like 1 to 100 when this movie kickstarts is just nuts because you get Predator
Oh, yeah.
vision. He's scoping out the sites and he's like checking out like, oh, okay, so we're in with the Predator's perspective. He's looking for his hunt. We're already familiar
Moving
with what
fast.
the Predator is, moving very fast. So we're familiar with everything that's gonna in terms of Predator stuff. We're familiar. We know his MO. So I like that they just give us Predator right up the hop and just give us absolute all-out fucking war. The Scorpions are doing fucking cocaine. They're shooting up the streets, all out war. These cops are bleeding out on the road. And here comes Lieutenant Harrigan. He just throws some fucking bulletproof vests on his car, takes his door off, and just fucking goes in there like a
Oh, I
badass.
know.
Like
Predator
this
was
is just
impressed. He was
nuts.
watching them.
Oh, he was very impressed. He was.
Predator was turned on. He's like, "Fuck! I can't wait to fight this guy." My God.
Oh, he
it's
just
gonna be
wants to like
good.
look at his skull and everything. Like, you know,
Yeah.
he's just all over that. So, it was just 1 to 100, just all the excitement and just like the thrill of the fight and all that jazz. And there's so many just subtle moments of the Predator. And I'll just kind of like round off my thoughts here of this intro. The one scene where the Scorpion is like, he's so fucked up on cocaine and he's on the roof and he's like looking, Harrigan's like approaching him like, freeze, asshole. And he's like, the Scorpion's looking around this 2 MAC-10s, totally coked out of his fucking mind. And then when he sees the Predator jump and his reaction, like, and he just whips his fucking MAC-10s up and Donald Glover
Danny
Glover, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Danny
go
Glover
on,
just, the names are so close. Danny Glover just fucking lights him up and just drops him. And when he falls, and it gets me every fucking time, the way they film that scene where his head just comes up, I was like, always think, look at this fucker coked out, he survived, just brace the impact. But no, it's just the hand picking him up. But the movie just, it's very nostalgic, and it'll stand for more reasons that I'll explain as we progress through this retro.
Well, there you go. Let's take our first ad break, and then we're going to continue talking about Predator 2, so we'll be right back. And we're back. So yeah, I want to start with the hotel scene because that's where we start, or the apartment sex scene, because we've already talked about a bit.
Oh,
I
yeah.
shared my portion of it, but again, you guys talk about the movie ramping up to 100. It does like at the beginning, and then they like cool down for a little bit. Your Danny Glover's meeting his new partner, this and that. But then anytime action is around, it just goes tenfold. The fucking train scene we're gonna talk about later. This scene right here, the ending, man. I thought the Predator fight with Arnold was long. This ending, man, it's just such an extended set piece. But this whole like apartment hotel killing, whatever it may be, man, what a what a scene all of it was, from starting with this ferocious sex scene to the gang coming in to doing voodoo, and the Predator comes in and he just fucking destroys everybody. And you got lots of naked people. You got the naked dude hanging upside down. This woman, like I said, she's just fully nude, head to toe, full frontal for like 5 minutes. She's just running around nude and whatnot, and that tells you everything you need to know about this movie. If I was to like summarize the movie in one scene, I'd say just watch this scene, and that's what the movie's like, you know?
Voodoo magic man.
Voodoo
Yeah,
man,
that was-
Fucking
yeah.
voodoo magic.
that was a wild scene, honestly, for obviously how it opened, but also just what followed, like with just like what were they called, like the Jamaican voodoo gang, whatever the hell. I think they had a different name, but something close.
That was their name, the Jamaican
Jamaican-
Voodoo Gang.
or something.
Yeah.
So like that crew, it was just a moment where I'm like, I had to like remind myself this is a Predator movie. Like it just felt like very separate
Mhm.
of a plot of like, this is just gang wars. Like we're not even watching a Predator movie. It's like the Predator is just viewing gang wars. And like there's so many different gangs and factions that have already been introduced, like up until because like how far into the movie do you think this was happening, this Ravage sex scene? Like first half an hour?
10 minutes.
First 10
No, it's not the
No?
first 10 minutes. No, I think
for
there's
Taylor.
like
He started on that scene.
yeah, I
AB,
feel like
AB.
because this movie's like an hour. It's like 2 hours, right? I feel like it's about 40 minutes in
Yeah.
the sex scene. Yeah,
Hour 48.
40
this movie.
minutes? No.
I just remember pausing and being like, "Oh, this is how much I have left," or something. If it's not 40 minutes, it's more. What Taylor's gonna bring it up? He has it on his AB repeat. He's like, "Just hang on, it's still playing in the background." But
It's still going. You just
well,
hear,
it's one of yeah, it's one of those movies where when you hear some movies that kind of went down a wrong path, where they wrote it as one movie and then they like took the script and like, oh, this could be a Predator movie, like let's add the Predator in here. There's definitely times where it feels like that, where this could have been a separate movie, like, well, we could add the Predator to this, and they do that because this scene in the middle, like there's tension going on, nothing to do with the Predator, but out of like all the places, the Predator's just hanging out in this, you know, apartment building or hostel, whatever you want to call it, and he's just in the shafts. And I guess this is where he wanted to get his next kill. Like maybe there's a plot point that I missed of how he got there, but obviously just felt like, okay, he needs to go around and kill people. And I will say he gets some brutal kills. There's one point, my favorite kill of that is he like back claws a dude and he like throws him against the wall, and it was violent. He's like, and he went right there. There's some violent stuff, and this Predator was not messing around. He dispatched these people quickly and viciously.
Absolutely. Like I was talking about, I just like the Predator more in this movie versus the last one, just because we're getting more of him. Like we're getting more close-ups. Like the costume looks really good. It doesn't look like, I was really railing on that one scene when he's first dating himself, and it just looked like he had like a first date from London Drugs, you know. And he's
You got
just,
that
like,
again in this movie too.
Yeah, but you know, I think I had a pass because it didn't clearly look like these plastic like fingers like just moving, because there's like clearly just a suit. Like it looked pretty damn good. And we just got more gadgets from him, like in general. Like we finally got like that blade, which didn't look the best, like the saw blade that he throws. I know specifically it's in AVP because I remember him using it in that one. And I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so go easy on me. But I remember it looking pretty damn good, and just like his overall weapons in this one I thought looked really good too. And specifically that net, that is a really iconic one for me. Like it's just when he like just squishes you and then it just like pushes, and yeah, like when it's just like
Fuck,
tearing.
brutal.
Oh, it's so brutal. Yeah. And it's so funny. Like I feel like I've seen AVP like 22 times. So like all my Predator knowledge is mostly from that movie. I'm now realizing how little just specific Predator knowledge I have, because like I said, like this is the first time I've seen the second one. I really didn't know the first one like I thought I did. So yeah, so the voodoo magic stuff, when the gang came in, it was just like the dude's doing like a blood sacrifice, like he's doing like a symbol on the dude's chest, and he's just like, it's not enough, I gotta take your soul. It was just like, holy shit, okay, we're doing doing some blood cult rituals, and you just got like the full naked chick right there. Like it was just a weird dynamic. But I will say, like, the aftermath chaos, like Travis, you were mentioning some of the combat in that sequence of him just fucking up the gang members, like that was all really fun for me. And when the cops come to investigate it afterwards, I love how they enter like the room and there's just bodies like everywhere. Like it's just it's one of those things where if you put yourself in the shoes of those cops, like entering that room, like what the fuck happened here? Like
They think it's voodoo. They think this is part of the voodoo.
no, they
gang,
do,
right?
yeah. And it's just like a hell house like scene, you know, and like or even earlier on, like when they first kind of experience the predator when El Scorpio is running from, and there's just that body like hanging on the roof. It's just like what could really be doing this, right? And I think that pattern is just really interesting for me, and something that is always or let me rephrase that. Something that I love about the predators is like the initial when the humans are just like seeing like his work, like seeing like the body's just hanging there, or like seeing the first head that's just like ripped off, and it's just like what the fuck are we dealing with here? So I really like that portion, even though it started very, very weird, very, very bizarre, and we had like World War V going on at the start of this movie.
This whole movie's bizarre. Like it's just a collection of set pieces, which I still all enjoy, but it's like the war gangs there. We talk about the train one, which I think the train one's one of the better ones. You got this sex scene into the voodoo thing. You have the very awkward scene to me of I like it of King Willie and Danny Glover meeting in the alleyway, and Danny Glover leaves, and then 5 seconds later, King Willie's fighting the Predator. Like it's just super odd, and it's like it's so weird. Like he hears them, he sees the invisible thing. They're getting ready to fight, and I love the transition, but it's weird when you're gonna fight. But I love the transition where he's just screaming, and they hard cut to his head with his mouth open to look like he's screaming, but it's not. It's actually his head cut off.
So
but it's so
good.
It is good, but I don't know what. It just feels like they were setting up for like a huge fight, and then no, just cut. He fucking destroyed King Willie. Even the whole third act of no, we know these things are aliens and we gotta take them down. Where even then, I hate like it's classic movie trope. They don't want to kill the predator. They want to study the predator. So like okay, but that's another set piece of we're gonna have it rain and ice and stuff. So it just felt like they had let's put the predator in New York, whatever, concrete jungle. What are some cool set pieces? Okay, there. And then I feel like lastly, it's like, what are the characters or plot lines? Like, oh, we could add a rookie here, a young guy who's 42. We can add, this voodoo mafia thing. We can add Gary Busey. And they're like, for a simple movie, there's so much fucking shit going on. We can add Gary Busey, who is like just going around, and the whole movie, I felt like I knew this kind of remembering it, but even the first time, it's just like, he's kind of not trying to help out, but he has some sort of, he's not just Danny Glover. I feel like anytime he sees Gary Busey or the other guy that's helping Gary Busey, that's a part of the alien thing. Yeah, he just like fucking grabs him by the collar. He's like, you want to fuck with me? You want like it's just like he just is so violent and he's just so like up in their face. And they reveal like, we're here to like take down this alien threat or look into it and stuff like that. But again, there's so much going on. The gangs, the partners, Danny Glover, the predators, the alien like kind of research team and stuff like that. There is so many storylines. But the good thing is these people get killed off pretty quick, so you don't have to deal with these storylines,
True.
Keys didn't hold back when Harrigan would lose his shit on him. Like, you keep getting my way, you're gonna turn up missing. Like, just fucking drops it on.
Who turns up missing? That's not. I feel like that phrase doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
You're gonna turn up missing.
You were talking about the technology there, a little bit of the Predator, Kirklin. I am so in love with it. That's one of the big things for me with Predator Hunting Grounds. When they brought the jungle or the city hunter, they had all his gizmos and gadgets, and he's so cool because when he's fighting in the penthouse, he whips out his spear. This is the first time we see that. We get to see the net gun and all these cool new things that we didn't see in the first movie. And this Predator was just one that felt so much more like younger, obviously, and just more decked out with what he was operating with. He had a plasma caster from his gauntlet, which was super cool. Yeah, his blade. He had like the metal shooter thing that came out of his gauntlet as well. Like he was just, yeah. What's up?
Why do you say obviously younger? Like what about
Yeah,
him?
I was wondering.
I can't remember where I read
have a
that.
beard?
Very clear.
I was in the
Obviously
forums though, but I remember deep in the forums that he's a younger Predator than the first one
How's
was.
that obviously younger then? Like if you had to go deep into the forums to find
Yeah,
out.
that's the.
I know.
How many
I'm
how many
picking
like
straws,
coils
so-
are on his dreadlocks or whatever.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I'll look up when someone else goes. I'll look up where I saw that information. But no, it's just I love this Predator so much, just with what he's capable of and what he's doing, and yeah, his weaponry when he's like healing his hand, and he has like the little like remote pedestal thing that just shoots the flame, and he's like got the like he breaks the mirror, crumples that up, and then pours this blue ooze on it and makes this like thing. It's so cool because like what is he doing?
And again, like I was shitting on the one from the last movie. It's still a first aid kit, but it looks a little more alien. You know, he's got a cool carrying case for it. And then like you mentioned, Taylor, he's doing actually some chemistry. He's burning some things, putting some weird goo on there with the glass. So I think that's why it was a little bit better for me. It's one of those things that is just like they still feel like they have to just show off that he's very resourceful. The Predators are that. Like I understand that's a trait of theirs. There's a couple other like Predator characteristics that I feel like I never really noticed. They shined in the last movie and they tripled on it this movie. It feels it's like just to quickly shout it out. I think it's like the mocking aspect of it when he just like learns like like come get the candy, you know, like he just learns how to like fuck with the psyche of his
such
prey
a random
somehow.
time
It is,
though.
It's very weird.
It made no, because when he learns the kid thing, like, okay, at some point he's gonna say it to some adult to like lure him out, almost like the first one where he got the phrase he said and the guy like turned and then he got him trapped. You already have Bill Paxton dead to rights. He's up against the door and just like, you want some candy? Like, very strange choice that made little sense.
And like I feel like I didn't realize that they ever did that because again, like I'd never seen this one. I vaguely remember the first one. All my memories kind of come from AVP, and I feel like they don't talk in that one at all. I'm probably wrong, but I feel like they don't. And it just seems like they only really do it to taunt them. Actually, no, sorry. Like you mentioned, Travis, the scene in the last movie, like he actually did it to like distract the guy, you know, to like change his focus. So it has some use there, but it's just certain traits that the Predators have. It's just like I kind of wish they didn't have it, where they just feel the need to just like, yeah, just come get the candy, or like, you know, like I felt like a lot of Bill Paxton's character's lines that were so corny and cheesy. I was waiting for the Predator to actually take one of them, like come to daddy, or like one of those lines. Or what was the other one, like a butt buddy when he was talking about or what was it I wrote down, the butt boys. Yeah, but
I wish he took line. I wish he took Danny Glover's line of "You're ripping my dick off and shoving it up my asshole." Now, okay, what do you want to say, Taylor?
No, keep going.
Okay,
Go after.
that I know that was not the specific one because I think it's just you're tearing off my dick and shoving my ass. What a fucking expression! Like what? Like that almost beats the whole blade. Like sometimes some motherfuckers just kind of trying to ice skate uphill, but like you're shoving my dick, so you're ripping my dick off and shoving up my ass. What a imagery, what a scenario to be in. And I'm definitely going to take that in the future and use that because who thought of that line? Who thought of that? And I'm using it as not even respect, like, because it's like so bad, it's so good. But there was another one I didn't appreciate them doing this moment. This is where it felt like bad sequel. So at the end, when the mask comes off, there's two things that he called them. One, Danny Glover called him pussy face, and then they like literally like zoom in kind of on the Predator's mouth to emphasize like, look, it looks like a pussy face. Like that was a choice. But the other one is when the mask comes off, he repeats the Arnold line. He says, "You're a one ugly," and the Predator pushes him off and says, "Motherfucker." And I didn't know if I needed Predator saying "motherfucker" like that in the speech, and I didn't appreciate that, and I didn't appreciate the motherfucker either in that moment. So.
yeah, they were really just trying to repeat that line from the first one.
Yes.
And
But what if the
that's where it's
Predator
like-
says it this time? What if he says it this time? That's the writing room. Oh yeah, fuck yeah. He
yeah,
says
like
motherfucker.
actually.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I passed in the first one because it's like this is the first Predator. Like I'm expecting to get these cheesy lines, but them just holding on to this moment. It's not even Arnie that does it, you know. No disrespect to Danny Glover, but he's not Arnie. So
No, he's not. And I like Danny Glover, but no one can be Arnie.
Yeah.
You know.
No one can be Arnie.
No.
If the Predators say the line, and it still rubs me the wrong way. Honestly, anytime the Predator's like saying words, I think I would have liked it better if he just had like an audio device that would like record specific. That's probably how he's doing it, isn't it? Or actually no, because he said motherfucker without his mask. So that's not. that
Yeah,
wouldn't
he
even make
learned the
sense.
word motherfucker. That's how much they swear in Los Angeles, New York. Or they were in L.A., right? That's where they were.
Yeah.
Or were
Yeah.
they? Yeah, that's how much they swear in Los Angeles. The Predator learned motherfucker.
It wouldn't take long to learn motherfucker if you're there. I mean, like
Motherfucker.
I
You
guess
drop
but we haven't
in on
shown
a
them
bunch of
speech English.
yeah, but you drop in on a bunch of like scorpion guys doing cocaine and like I mean,
And the Predator
they
can
were
learn
all-
English now.
Well, predators could always learn English. We learned that in the first movie.
But he didn't he have the mask with that?
No,
No,
that's
I
what I
guess
was wondering,
yeah. When he
yeah,
did
he
that,
had it off.
remember he did that terrible laugh.
Well,
He had
that's
the
what's
mask off.
weird to me because not only does he learn the language, but he literally repeats the line like exactly. It's like he's Mystique.
Like he's
he
the
just,
first or he's the first Predator that went through that experience. Arnold survived, and then he's gonna like say, "Oh, do you mean like the candy line or the motherfucker line?"
I'm saying all the lines because it sounds
Okay.
like he copies the voice of the person that he's
Yes.
that like it's like he's Mystique. Like he sounds like a kid when it's like you want a piece of candy, and that's why I always thought it was like an audio recording thing. But no, they have this thing that they can just. And again, that's a power I wish they kind of just didn't have. I like their look. I don't need them to talk. The roar that
I
they
agree.
could do, like that would just be more menacing. But
That when you guys were talking
Yeah.
about his first aid med stuff, I forgot to put that out. That one, just imagine you're next door and you hear this fucking Predator screaming, and man, what a terrible. I'm moving on that scenario, but that was great. The screams they had that Predator like yelling when he was like first aiding himself, man, that felt
Yeah.
brutal, and it was loud, and again, just cool. He's like breaking the apartment, he's getting little holes to do stuff, he's looking for Patton, and I really liked that because I thought I kind of counted him out, but he felt that building was still in it, and then he still kind of dies like a bitch later, but I appreciate they kept trying. He had a lot of the green blood around him, and I like that the green blood got on Danny Glover too. A couple scenes he like had that glowing off him, but Predator still kind of went. I won't say like a bitch, but I feel like he went 1v1 with Danny Glover, and Danny Glover beat him, in his own ship. So that's kind of. I don't think they're gonna honor him in the past Predator life, whoever this Predator is,
and that also in that scene when you have like the lady like Herb, there's someone in our bathroom,
Mhm.
and the Predator gets out of there, fucking kicks down the door like on this lady basically, and then you just see him like sprint to the front door. I'm spitting all over my monitor because that's how badly I'm laughing right now. But he just like kicks down, and he doesn't just kick down the door. It's like the fucking wall around the door. He just kicks down, and the way he just runs out of there. I literally laughed out loud when that happened. I think the shock factor really just pushed me over the edge for the comedy there. It was just not what I was expecting at
This
all.
movie has a lot of shock value where you're just saying like, did that just happen? And it usually does.
Absolutely,
The answer is
yeah.
yes. So.
Yeah.
Taylor, where do you want to go? I feel like when we were talking about some stuff, you had your hand up, and then we never came back.
Yes, I got some answers for you guys.
To it.
So,
Fuck.
I knew I was
Where's
I
my
was
dad?
in the Xenopedia here. So the Jungle Hunter was a like a older, blooded
What
Yautja that was
What are we
going
talking
here.
about right now?
We're talking about the
Who asked
Predators.
about who asked about the Jungle Hunter?
Because you wanted to know how
Oh,
I knew the
no,
City
Kirklin
Hunter
did
was
this to
younger or
us.
older. So the Jungle Hunter,
You're stuck on this ship with us, Travis.
he was referred to as where's the name? El Diablo que hace trofeos de los hombres. So that's what
He
they
needs to
referenced in
shorten
the
that
first. That's what they referenced in the first name. That was Leona, I think. Yeah, Leona, the lady in that. That said it. No, not Leona. She was in Predator 2. The lady from the first Predator, she references that name to the Jungle Hunter because he's a reoccurring local legend that keeps hunting there for the seasons when it gets really hot, and then he kills. Now in the City Hunter, he is a newly blooded City Hunter, and this was his first off-world hunt that was on Earth.
Oh, he sure failed.
So that's why he was so proud of.
He got a lot of
getting,
trophies.
he got a lot of trophies. Oh yeah, he got
But
King
does it count if he
Willie's.
died? I don't think so. That's like saying let's say Kirklin, you robbed a bank, and it's like, man, Kirklin robbed that bank for $3 million, but then the next day you were shot and died. It's like, yeah, sure, you robbed that bank at one point, but you didn't complete the
different
mission.
though. For predators, like if you die, you're literally your honor. That's like the ultimate thing.
die
You
in
died in the
battle.
hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, died
I
in
would,
battle.
I wouldn't honor this fucking guy. He had so many chances. He could took Danny Glover out scene 1, and he didn't.
It's their downfall. Like at the same time,
What
like,
is? What specifically is their downfall? I want to hear.
that they like to bait and toy with like their significant prey when they see like, okay, this is definitely like a very prominent opponent, and I think that's the youth in this one being cocky, just kind of like thinking he's top shit, letting Harrigan kind of not get the better hand, but he was cocky. He let the OWLF kind of sneak up on him and get the better on him there too in the meat locker place. So that definitely backfired on him. But he adapted and proved himself. But
Those blades to the cows when Gary Busey thought he had him dead to rights.
that was a wild scene.
I love that. He's like, "Get out of here! I'm about to save your ass."
Yeah, he's mine. It's like, yeah, he destroyed you. And not only your face was half burned, he just cut you down. Yeah, not good. Where do we want to go next?
Maybe we can talk about our protagonist a little bit, Danny Glover. I was kind of waiting for a moment that they just bring in Arnie somehow in this movie. I was a little
Never
bit let
happens.
down. Yeah,
No movies brought
Never
him back
again,
yet.
eh?
Well, I feel like that's the last card they have, and they haven't done it yet. There was talking Predators, which we'll get there, but I feel like that's the last card Disney should be able to pull out. Not for Prey, but if they could do one more Predator. Yeah, he's just in Prey, even though it's a prequel. He's playing some Apache chief and like
tattoos and everything. Like he just looks like Arnie.
Yeah, everyone's really offended because like he's not Native American. Like why
He's
is
got his
like,
accent, like his European accent.
Yeah, they don't even try to mask it, and he's just there. But no, I think that's the last card they gotta do before Arnie passes away. They gotta bring Arnie back. It's definitely getting near the point where it might be impossible, but I feel like that's the last card. But no, he's never brought back in any of these.
Yeah, so a little sad there. He was just so phenomenal in that first movie. But Danny Glover, I thought he was a fun, badass, like cop that just he didn't have time for shit. Like he just wanted to get boots on the ground and really get shit done. I liked like initially when his first partner Angel Batista. That's just what I'm gonna call him because that's just what I fucking saw with this character. I don't know what his name was in the movie. I got IMDb up here. Danny.
Batista Angel.
That was like actually though. Like I'm like, how old is Angel Batista in real life? No, there's no way this is actually him, right? And then I'm like, his voice. This is him. But like when he I was gonna say passed away when he got fucking murdered by a predator.
If the predator kills you, you don't get to say my husband passed away.
He did not pass. He was thrown.
No. Something passed through him, but he did not pass.
So when he got fucked up, Danny
took it hard.
Yeah, he took it hard and like really personal. Like that was his boy. Like they went 15 years together on the streets. Like went through so much shit together. And now it's like I don't have time for the political bullshit. Like I need answers of my own. I like that motivation from him there. I think a couple of the liners they're probably just dated because they just seemed weird. Like in the initial fight when he shows up. I don't know why he just felt the need to be like, "Hey assholes," and then they like turn and he just like shoots like 6 dudes with a shotgun when like. I feel like you don't really want to give away your position when you're outnumbered like that. You have a pump action shotgun. But I digress, He had 0 recoil on that weapon and he fucked him up. He was the MVP that day. And like, not really, I guess it's still about him. But when that scene ended, like he literally should have got like a Medal of Honor with what he did in that mission. Like he went in there with no flak jacket on the car, just like head on, rammed into like the El Scorpion dudes. And then how does that scene end? Like his boss just like rips his ass apart, basically rips his dick off, shoves up his ass. And then he just like drives back to the police station. Like nobody's cheering him on. No one really like cares about what he did. He's just like basically he was so close to dying that day, but I felt bad for him. But all in all, I thought he was a good enough, like we didn't get Arnold, so we have this guy. I thought it was a good enough protagonist to follow along.
Well, I'm gonna share my thoughts on the protagonist right after this ad break. And we're back. And yeah, I feel like Danny Glover, and this is not meaning offensive him, but he fits like in that classic, hey, we can't get the big A star to do this film, who's like a likable, good actor that fits the B role. Like if it's Arnold, what's the step down? And that is Danny Glover. But I like Danny Glover, I liked him in Saw and Lethal Weapons and stuff. But I think he's a solid lead. It gets the job done. He's just a pretty much angry cop. And they do, I think, at least establish he's angry because he's been here for so long and he's just gone through so much shit and everything. Now he's dealing with this alien. But he's just so determined, even at the end when they say, hey, we got a team to go take out the Predator. You just stay here. He still fucking just went inside. He didn't have to do that. He could have booked. He could have just sat there, but
Well, because
he took it upon himself.
Like, he goes on the radio and he's like, the lights. He can see the goddamn lights, Keys. And like, who is this? Clear the line.
Oh yeah,
Silence
but
and
like,
comms, please.
yeah, he definitely like is taking it personal. But in that point, you should probably just go, don't take it personal, and just sit out. But no, he had a mission. Once he found out this predator, he's gonna fucking kill this predator. And he did. His homeboys took him and walked away, which is a scene I really liked. I like that them just showing this respect and bringing in. I kind of like the, you got it. They gave him a gun, which is, like an heirloom of the time. And obviously we talked about it on the retro last week, but seeing all the skulls and like the xenomorph, that's like such a nice little touch. But I like Danny Glover enough as an actor overall, so I liked him as the lead here. He got us to where we need to be. He can play like some of the emotional scenes quite good. He can play the hard ass quite good. Not like one of the world's greatest actors, but enough that I can believe and want to watch the main character. So that's what happened with me, Taylor Field.
You're talking about how like next character or next actor to kind of fit in that role is our main for this movie. I got like trivia for the end, but I just feel like this is the best part just to throw this in because I was fucking like chuckling reading this. It was so weird. But they actually, instead of Danny Glover, they almost had, I guess, Steven Seagal really wanted the role. You guys know about this?
Fuck. No, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Okay. So for Predator 2's, I'm going to read this. This is fucking wild. First, Predator 2's 30th anniversary, director Stephen Hopkins talked about almost casting Seagal in the sequel. Apparently, Steven Seagal really wanted the role and invited Hopkins over to his house to talk about the movie. Hopkins explained that it was one of the strangest experiences of his life, with Seagal showing off his gun collection and offering to launch grenades with the director. So, and I
It
quote...
sounds like, what does it sound like? The unbearable weight of massive talent? That's what this
sounds like
Fuck.
it. So, and I quote, I had to go and have a meeting at his house, which is one of the craziest afternoons I've had. It was a bizarre, he's very unusual, slightly twisted kind of guy. In the end, I couldn't see myself doing it with him. He was desperate to do it. I went into his house and he took me into a room where all the walls were covered with guns. He told me he wanted to play a CIA psychiatrist who was also a martial arts expert who carried a gun. He was clearly a little crazy at the time. And I was like, this is different than the way we're going. So I guess we shouldn't do it. He said, I want you to come to my house and send a Barbara. He said, I've got a grenade launcher range there. We can launch grenades together. I said, yeah, great. We'll do that. Sorry, I'm not a fan of his.
Yeah, Seagal's a weird fucking dude.
That's insane. Holy
he's
crap.
not all there. But yeah, we almost had John Claude the last one and Seagal in this one. So they would have had those action legend heroes in this. But nope, no Seagal and everything like that. What did you, Taylor Field, feel about our lead? Or do you want us to go somewhere else?
What's that? Sorry, repeat the question.
How do you
Our
feel about our
protagonist.
lead? Or if you have nothing, you can take it somewhere else.
He was, full of rage. Again, he's the main character in this, Danny Glover. Like, whenever I watch this movie, I just feel like I'm sweating. Like, I'm sweating right now in this hot, like,
It's like Top Gun
room.
Maverick.
But, yeah,
Or
it's
just Top Gun
like,
the original.
wet.
Just like, oh, fuck.
when he's on screen, it just immediately turns into, like, his pits are always sweaty. He goes into his office, he changes his shirt. Like, it's just, this movie is Heat Wave, and you could watch it on like a below 30 day and you'd still be sweating, I feel like. So, but again,
Below 30 could be 29, which is pretty warm as well.
Yeah, well, that's true. He's angry, he's pissed off. Like when he's after I think the things with Danny, he like comes out of like his office and you see Keys like 30 feet away, slowly going down the stairs, and he like full on sprints after him, and he's always just pissed off. And even that, like, I feel like he did a really good job portraying this, like, this grizzly cop that's just trying to survive these gang wars and just do the right thing and do the best that he can. That scene where he is like, Keys, the lights, goddamn lights, and Keys like, clear the line, and he turns to look at the guy guarding the door. And he throws his hands up like this as he's walking, and the guy's like, don't move. And then he just fucking like decks him and puts a gun up to his neck so smoothly. Like
He
he's
fully
so
gave up.
He's full. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing too. Holy shit. So Pope was just like an absolute, just a nuisance in this movie. The reporter. So when Pope, at the end, when Harrigan's chasing the Predator, and Pope he goes up right after like Leona's like in a coma and he just lost Bill Paxton and like Danny's dead and then Pope grabs the camera and is like, hey Harrigan, more murder, more mutilations, and he just turns around, fuck you, and just drops him.
Yeah, he's fuck you. He had a lot of good one. Emily couldn't believe how many like lines he would drop. Like he would just look at someone and say cocksucker and then like move on with his day. Like he just had great delivery by Danny Glover as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Tony Pope there, Taylor, because fuck, he was making me laugh so hard. There was another moment, I think it was on like the voodoo scene when he's just like, he's like on the balcony or something, like getting footage, and then like he's just getting on the camera. He's asking Danny Glover's character for just like a bit of information, and the cop just goes there and just like grabs his camera. I had to write it down because I laughed so hard, specifically what he said, and like his reaction to it was just like, "Hey, fuck you, man! I know my rights. I smell a cover up. Hey, Harrigan." He's just this like super like conspiracy theory dude. That's just, and also like that was another one of those moments when they dropped so many f-bombs in this movie. Of just like, "Hey, fuck you, asshole!" Like one of those types lines. But when he grabbed his camera, I was so shocked when he's just, "Hey, fuck you, asshole," and he's just like talking shit, like, "I know my rights." Blah. Oh my god, it was good. It was so funny. Hardcore reporting, by the way. That was his
exactly. They kept making a point after all of his interviews. He kept saying like, "Where's the mayor? He's not even here."
He's like, "Get off your ass and you come out and call martial law." Yeah. That's what he did at the beginning. And when fucking Angel Batista Angel passed away, got murdered, and then
Hard passed away.
Typically you'd be like, try and be respectful when you're like talking about someone that died and like that. And then in hardcore reporting, it just says, I wrote it down so I wouldn't get it, hardcore scorecard. That was the title at the top, and then it was like cop dead, and it was like listing off like how many people were dead, as if he's like collecting like a fucking sports tally. It was just so bizarre. It's one of those things that's like I would only picture that in a movie like this, where it's just like really leaning into that like, I don't know, action. What genre even is this? I don't know.
This is definitely action, high octane action, sci-fi action,
80s,
stuff like
90s type era thing.
Yeah,
Like, you just picture
cheese
those types
action.
of things of like
Hardcore
I couldn't believe
action.
it though. I couldn't believe that though. It's just like hardcore scorecard, and it's just like his best friend's death that he's probably just like really torn out about, and he's just seeing the score tally. Oh my god, that got me.
I don't even know like his news was so it was so like straight to the point because he was like talking about like King Willie with his head cut clean off in an alley. Like it's just, he was 1 to 100.
Oh yeah. Fuck, that's funny.
I'm still laughing at the scorecard thing of just Danny Glover gets home from a tough day, turns on his TV, and just sees his friend on the scorecard. Another one dead. But yeah, no, that was the point, right? They were. I feel like that was kind of very Total Recall, trying to be 80s, very kind of on the nose, and not that they were wrong because we kind of unfortunately transitioned into some of that stuff, but. Yeah, I just wanted to shout out too. I talked about this a few times. Really liked the train scene for the most part. I don't know if I needed the candy thing, but I liked lights going off, the train flickering the lights. I'm taking everybody. The fact that everybody had guns was just a fucking wild scene. When the one guy's like
Dangerous
kind of
times in LA.
It's the 90s. Yeah,
he's gonna mug this group's gonna mug this book reader, and he just pulls out of his bag a gun.
Briefcase.
Yeah,
I know how to use
and then they
this.
look to the left, and everyone's just like, "Yeah, you're not fucking wrong." And everybody has a gun, and that's the revelation of that's why the predator's killing them. But I wish you could maybe take out that stuff, but a wild scene. Even the scenes where it was dark, you just have like women randomly shooting, and there's lights going off. So I visually like the scene, but there was a few cheesy things in it. But that's this whole movie, right? So
That one guy, that scene was absolutely fantastic. And when the guy was like approached by the crooks, and the crooks were like, "Hey, you look like a sympathetic dude. My friend here needs an operation." And then he whips out his gun out of the briefcase, and then they're not even phased by it because the goon is like, "Mine's bigger than yours." He starts laughing, whips this fucking huge revolver out. Yeah, the old lady whips out her gun. Like all these people just pull their things, and I think that's great to. Like we know how the predator works. We know he kills people that are armed, and that kid, like The little kid is very lucky because he's going at a fucking graveyard, which is very disrespectful.
100%. Danny Glover's over there again. He saw the scorecard. He's like, "Fuck, I'm gonna get some air. I'm gonna go see Angel Batista." And then while he's at this grave, the little kid, like he's just the amount of PTSD Danny Glover must be. Yeah,
Die, you
The
scum
amount of-
sucking dogs, little kid
Yeah.
running around.
The amount of PTSD that this Danny Glover must have because the whole day he's being reminded of his friend's death must be gargantuan.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. You gotta quickly mention like the ship scene at the end, like the final showdown. I liked how, I'd seen AVP, so it wasn't my first time seeing like a Predator ship, but it was cool going from the first one to this one that we just get a little bit more of his technology and just the inside of what the ship looks like, and it's very alien. Not xenomorph alien, but it's just very extraterrestrial. That reminded me, there's the Keys line too, when he's like explaining to what he is. It's like extraterrestrial life form. Danny Glover's character, he's like, what does that mean? He's like, fucking aliens, man. Like, it was just, it's such a timepiece movie.
Yes.
But
It's a sign of the times.
Sign of the times, absolutely. But the ship with like the smoke, like that was really fun. It was a good final showdown. As you mentioned, Travis, kind of weird that the Predator just gets fucked up in his own ship. I guess he did have like an arm chopped off, so he's probably a little woozy in that moment. Maybe he's seeing doubles.
Yeah.
And then I liked when the other Predators come in, like you mentioned, when that respectful thing that they do of like, you bested him, like, so you
Good
won,
job,
so,
motherfucker.
Yeah, we hated this fucking guy. So
That's why we sent him to Earth. Let's send him to the war zone where there's a bunch of guns in LA. That's why.
And like gives them like the matchlock, and that was something that it all comes back to AVP. But I love when the Predator like sides with the human and like gives them like a trophy. Taylor knows what I'm talking about. Travis probably does too, but he's nails on chalkboard when it comes to AVP apparently.
I'm excited to watch them one day, but I know those are going to be some bad times. I don't remember them fondly. But I will now go on them with a bit more of a just want to have some fun with it. But I don't think they're good movies. No, 100% not. No.
Just that whole respect thing that the Predator has, I've always loved that quality of them. It separates them from just an enemy, that like no matter what, they're just a bad guy and they're just gonna kill you. Like, I like that it makes them a little bit more interesting. So I really like that aspect. And again, you get some different designs for different helmets and stuff of the Predators. I feel like my favorite mask that they have, Taylor, I don't know if you have a favorite or if Travis, you have a favorite, but is the one that this one had like in the movie. Like, I just loved his look. They look really, really good.
I'd have to wait. I'd have to look at them all side by side.
We'll do rankings after our
there we go.
retro's done.
Yep. On it.
So yeah, that was all cool. I don't know if you guys have any more to add on to that specific ending with the ship. And I know you talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, no, I would just hold down that I liked it. It was a good setting. Like I said, I think the whole lab went on a little too long. You could have shortened that, but I liked it. Gone there. I liked even just the design of it, like the orange and tan, like walls and stuff, and it would respond to his voice. So no, I liked the finale and the climactic battle. Everything about that.
Taylor?
Yeah,
love
the
this
whole end sequence scene was just absolutely fantastic. Like, getting to see, I'm a huge sucker for that stuff, and seeing the ship and getting to see the whole lost tribe of hunters was just so cool. It was just right up my alley.
Could
A
you tell the
cherry on
ages
top
of them all?
Oh yeah, that was the elder
Obviously.
grayback predator was actually the main one.
Fuck.
I can't tell if you're joking or not, but I'm just trusting.
Yeah, he could be making up names that we
It's-
never know.
The elder grayback, like,
Yeah.
he's probably right. I don't know. I can't audit him.
Xenopedia. But yeah, it was fascinating. That whole trophy case scene when you see the Xeno skull, that was fantastic. It's like, holy shit, like this just ties it in. It's such a subtle little thing. It didn't need to be anything more than that. And yeah, that you can see King Willie's skull in there, and you can see Bill Paxton's skull in there as well.
I was just gonna quickly add on that note too. I love the sequence when he's actually like shining the skull and just like really, like, it's like he's polishing his trophy, right? Like he's like when he kills King Willie. I like that sequence because I don't think we got that in the first one, at least from the Predator's side of it, like that little ritual that he does with the trophy. Because we normally just see him like rip the trophy out, and then maybe like you see it somewhere else.
Well, we saw it in the first one, like him cleaning it. And then we could see like
Forgot
he
about that.
unrolled like this little thing, and like he put like a skull like next to his other
Oh, right.
skulls.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
But this was like the first time really seeing like the trophy case kind of thing, and like what they were kind of like intending them for. There is when the fight scene concluded, there is a comic that actually focuses on the Elder Greyback. I think it was a Dark Horse comic. It's in 1718. It was when that Predator actually goes to Earth and he actually fights and he actually gets the pistol from a pirate, which is pretty cool. I have to actually go and like find this comic and read it. I keep forgetting to, but yeah, it was so pretty cool shit. They did. I think it was like an anniversary thing that they did, but yeah. There's
go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, mine's on a different track, so go ahead.
One last thing on just this scene here. I'm going to share a screen here with you guys so you can indulge in
there we
this.
go.
This is you guys ever seen this
beautiful
before? This is some,
Predator
like-
and Danny Glover are having just the Predators are having a dance off right now. No, I've never seen that.
You
No,
never
I've
seen
never
this
seen it.
before? Oh man, I'll just like it's just absolutely just beautiful. This is one of those like it's so like quirky, but I fucking love it. To me, this is canon. Like just look at this. It's absolutely fantastic, and the music too is just it's definitely
There's
90s
like the Predators
music.
just watching Danny Glover and that other Predator battle. They're like not
Oh, yeah.
interfering.
Look at this waist action. Like they just got
like
it.
fucking Bruno.
I don't know
that's a
how we
pull.
got there.
That's a pull, yeah.
That's a
There you go. There you go.
I wanted to ask, how do you guys feel? Because it's similar to what Taylor's art is for our background here. How did you feel about the Predator climbing building, holding a sword up, and getting struck by lightning? Because I don't think I was for it.
A Thor God of Thunder moment when he like harvests the
Yes.
thunder. Yeah, that was very
Yeah.
bizarre. I think in the moment, like, okay, he's escaping and then he's cheering because he got the trophy. He's kind of. I think I was passing it until he just pulls like the Raiden move where he just like calls the thunder to him and it doesn't shock him or anything. It's just like,
It's like sniffing.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. The
Predator's
Predator's
ready.
ready.
That is drug. Oh yeah, fucking do it. El
You
Scorpio
wouldn't believe what they
is
have in
back.
L.A. Yeah.
They got pure lightning, man. It's so good. Yeah, that was very, very, very unneeded, in my opinion. It was so weird. I don't think, again, very limited Predator knowledge, but I don't think that ever happens again. Taylor, does he just harvest lightning like anyone like that?
I've never seen lightning harvested ever again, but I do know that it definitely lightning plasma works with their technology. So he was probably
Does
feeling
it?
super fucking juiced.
Okay.
Huge
I didn't know
hard
that
on
light.
as soon as the lightning hit him. Just,
Yeah. I didn't know that lightning did that to the Predators. So there you go.
It's an aphrodisiac. Very powerful.
Yeah, I made when I was 14 or 13, I made a Predator
I was worried when you
documentary.
mentioned aphrodisiac.
I
and
made
he's
a-
like, I
Speaking
made.
of,
Auction.
yeah.
Madison.
Yeah.
But no, I made a Predator documentary, and I was thinking in honor. I have to dig it out somewhere. I might post it to the Patreon only. And
Is this on YouTube or something somewhere?
oh, I think YouTube banned it because I was using like some like Blink 182 music back in the day or something like that.
Blink
Wow.
182
You never
with
cease
the
to amaze
Predator.
me,
That's a
Taylor.
bold choice. That is
I'll
a
have to
bold
see.
choice.
But
for me.
I
think
I
I've heard
saved
about
it
the
to
documentary,
DVD.
but I don't think I heard the music choice. So
I love it.
Yeah.
So, getting
am
back
I,
to
am I
Predator.
cutting out and everything? You guys were cutting out for me.
You know you're good, I think.
You're good.
That's strange because there's a definitely delay going on. I think now again.
Oh, is there?
I have no delay with Kirklin.
No, we're good. We're prime.
I have a delay with both of you.
Maybe
Fun
leave and come
times for
back?
the ending of this
Uh,
podcast. I'll
Um,
do whatever the fuck I want on my podcast. Fuck you. It's my podcast.
Fuck
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna leave.
You're one ugly motherfucker. Let's see. Going off my news. We actually hit like all the points I wanted to bring up, which is funny. It just goes to show how similar we were all seeing the same things together, you know, with the ridiculous lines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
God, I just love that moment when Pope was. I know my fucking rights, you motherfucker. Fuck
He
you.
pulls out
assholes."
another camera too, because like his name gets destroyed, and he's holding like another one in his hand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it
J.
smells
Jonah
like a
Jameson with a
cover
hairnet.
up. Fuck, that's so good.
I was gonna mention too when that ravaging sex scene happened, and then the cops arrive, and she's just really scared. I don't know if they meant to like do it this way or if it was just like the FBI government was trying to just like take like the witness to like, like cover it up. But I don't know, like for me it was such a weird scene when like the female cop is like helping this naked woman out of the room and there's just these like three dudes that were like, we got it from here. And they was like really creepy towards the woman. I don't know if you saw it like the same way that I did, but it was very strange for me. Because like the female cop like was really defensive, like, no, back off, like get out of here. Like it was just really bizarre for me. Again, maybe I was just reading too much into it, but it just seemed like, I don't know, there was some different motivations from their behalf there. But again, maybe I was just, I don't know, reading into it.
Well, that's fair.
I think Travis is just frozen now. He's not even on a delay.
Yeah, he's restarting his computer.
How's your notes looking, Taylor?
Yeah, just kidding. Distracted here for a second. My notes. I have a lot of like trivia, but I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Specifically,
another thing to mention actually on the train scene that wasn't brought up when Travis was initially bringing it up was after like the initial fight happens, and then you have the female cop, which I'll pull her name. I think her name was Leona. She like is outside of the train, and then it's like this suspense of her like getting closer to this like dark portion of the train, where then she sees like the golf ball, it's all bloody, and it's just like a good suspense build up. I really like that sequence.
Yeah.
And then she finds the aftermath. She finds Bill Paxton. Jerry was his name in the movie, and just absolutely fucked up. Oh my gosh, his head was just like, did he rip the skull out? I feel like I couldn't even really see it properly.
Yeah,
It
he
looked like-
ripped the skull out. When Harrigan goes like past the body, you can see like, holy shit, like the spine was ripped out and everything out of the back.
Yeah. He's back.
He's back.
We were. What are we talking
Yeah,
about? Taylor?
yeah, I am back. You guys are still a little
A little iffy.
choppy
Taylor,
for me. So if there's
I'm-
another delay, I don't know what happened. This happened. Oh, see, yeah, you guys were talking, and I was talking like a full 30 seconds before you guys. Fuck my life.
Oh well. Well, I was mentioning I don't have any more notes. Taylor just has trivia left, unless you have some more notes there, Taylor.
I got trivia. Yeah, I mean, I don't. As far as notes go, like seeing some of these characters and just getting the Predator in general with the other Predators too, like the action stuff. I was just eating it all up. It's much more action heavy. You're totally right, Travis. It's more like bro-y and diving into things with more explosions, yelling and anger and rage and testosterone. So
Cocaine.
Yeah, cocaine. So it's definitely a
Yeah.
high octane sequel.
Voodoo.
But you don't need all that to necessarily make a better sequel. Again, do I say this is a better one than the first one? No, but I think that's what they were trying to go for, and they want it to be better than the first. That's the goal of every sequel. So I think on its own, it's definitely worth viewing just to kind of see it. But I like that this kind of sets us up as well, where they didn't bring back reoccurring characters, but they established the like the anthology component, and that's something I think that really suits well with Predator. You have everything referencing that first movie, what happened in that situation, and that's all you need, and that just spearheads us along in all these other anthology standalone films that all just involve Predator and some form of objective with humanity getting in the way. And I think that's fantastic, and that's exactly what happened here. I'm glad that they call it Predator 2. It's not really a direct sequel. It's just another anthology movie in this franchise. And yeah.
If you didn't have any trivia, I feel like that's final thoughts right there to throw a score down, because I
got trivia.
I feel like that wrapped it up. Okay, then go. I feel like you should have done trivia and then that. It was a perfect segue, but no, here we are.
Well,
Very
I'll
well
give it.
said, Taylor.
Thank you. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 though. That's my rating. As for trivia, cameo prop, one of the trophies again, obviously Alien Skull. We got that. A deleted role. Elpidia Carrillo, who played Anna in the first film, has her name listed in the sequel's credits. She didn't appear to be in the actual film. However, if you look carefully during the scene inside Peter Keyes' mobile headquarters, you actually see her. Keyes describes how the creature activated a self-destruct device in the first film. You can briefly spot Anna on one of the video screens. Yeah, and apparently there was like a debriefing scene they were going to do in which she talks to the camera and describes the events of the first film, but it was cut from the sequel.
That
Now
would've
I
been
couldn't.
pretty unneeded, I think. It's just like this is what
Yeah.
happened in the first movie.
Yeah.
Not really necessary. I couldn't find more like credit to this, but the reason why the movie cost as much as it did is because Kevin Peter Hall, who played the Predator, convinced the producers to hire the Los Angeles Lakers to portray the other Predators. And I thought, like, that's very, very
Jesus.
interesting. So I was trying to see if, like, is this actually true or not? But I just thought it's worth mentioning regardless because it appeared on many trivia sites that this is a thing. So that's just very
Jeez,
wild.
if they did that, that's a fucking stupid ass studio. No wonder why they got bought by Disney eventually.
Must
Want to
have
pay the
had,
Lakers to play the Predators who are in a bunch of costumes?
must have had a solid sales pitch, to convince the
Oh,
producers.
definitely. Troubled production. So the scene where Harrigan meets King Willie, the alley the scene was filmed in was actually a rough neighborhood with disgruntled residents actually throwing feces at the film crew due to the noise they were making. They even discovered an actual dead body in a very real garbage you see in the scene.
Jesus Christ.
Who's in charge of picking the sets
What a
here?
time to be on Predator 2 set. Yeah. Someone was asleep on the wheel that day.
At one point, Patrick Swayze was approached to star in the film, but was unable to because he was injured during the filming of Roadhouse.
Curious what he would have been. They would have
okay.
just paid more to have him as a Predator, maybe. You don't even see it's him.
Oh, yeah,
No, I think he would have been Danny Glover's role.
Stephen Hopkins wanted John Lithgow for Keys, but producer Joel Silver insisted on Gary Busey.
Probably for the
John
best.
All right, that's fair. Lithgow's a much better actor, so I would have wanted him too. But,
In early drafts of the script, the Predator leaves a clump of King Willie's dreadlocks for Harrigan to find the graveyard, not Danny's necklace. That's
He's like, what the fuck are these?
Yeah, there's just some fucking hair dangling here. No relevance to me at all. Keys was originally going to be Dutch, once again played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And again, Anna was going to be back in here as
wait,
well.
play a separate character? Or, like... Oh,
No.
you said Keys was going to be Dutch. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so Keys was going to be scrapped, and they were just going to have the character Dutch in there, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, reprising his character.
I thought you meant like they were going to make the character Keys a Dutchman played by Arnold Schwarzenegger for a second. I'm like,
No.
man, that was a...
Yeah, that would've
if they
been
just
wild.
ignored the first movie and but
Or
okay.
did he
Schwar-
just have a
that
Dutch
would have
accent
played,
now?
but I wouldn't have wanted the same ending.
Well,
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger turned it down, however, because he didn't like the idea of that Dutch becoming a villain, so he declined.
Respect.
The original storyline of the
fair.
film was to have taken
Yeah.
place in
Good
New
play.
York
Good
City,
play.
but Jim and John Thomas quickly changed it to Los Angeles because of budget concerns. The scene where the Predator raises the skull during the lightning storm was originally to have taken place atop the Chrysler Building.
Oh, the Chrysler Building. Okay, I didn't think that one. Thought you got Empire State, you got Statue of Liberty, all prime choices, but the Chrysler Building. All right.
What's so significant-
Chrysler Building, it's
What's
popular.
The Chrysler Building? Or I guess I can Google it.
They destroyed it in Godzilla, that like 1990 version. They made a point of it too because they shot rockets at
Oh.
Godzilla and he dodged it, and then the mayor's like, "That was a goddamn Chrysler Building." Like, it's an important landmark, I guess.
There you go.
That's all my trivia. So you boys take it away.
Travis, you go first. Or second, I guess.
I'll go because the delay is still crazy over here. It's all
Yeah.
over the map. So I'll just say what I need to say. I'm giving this like a 6.65. It's close to a 7 because the rewatch one is lots of fun. I think this would be a hell of a watch with friends and everything like that. But I can't give it that 7 because 7 I always say like that's when I'll be, even if it's lower tier as far as quality wise, I'll still be rewatching it. There's enough that I'll go back to rewatch. This is something I'll watch again when I do something like this where I'm going to rewatch all the Predators. I don't think I would watch this one by itself. It's just if I'm in the mood for Predators, I would watch the franchise and put this in. But I have, like I said, I've seen this movie maybe 3 times, and I haven't seen this maybe since like the early 2000s. So it shows like my desire to watch this. Where Predator 1, back in the day when that was on cable, I'd just start watching. If it's on Netflix, yeah, I just put it on. It's like an easy go-to. Where this one, it's not that's not an easy go-to. It's just I know there's like a better version of this movie out there. You know, even there's some cool things that they did with the Predator and some lore and stuff. So you got that. But yeah, like a solid 6.75 for me. Can't give that solid 7.
Yeah. So the first time watching, like I said, I think the concept actually worked for me. Like it was just fun to have a Predator in LA, popping off, using just like urban buildings and stuff as his terrain, as opposed to like hiding in the trees. He's hiding on buildings and stuff, and I like seeing him just run through like on top of cars running away, but like in viz. It was really fun. So those sequences were good. And I think it's also just a movie that I jumped in wanting to just have fun with, and I did definitely achieve that. I think I had that in the first 10 minutes, honestly, with El Scorpio. That was fantastic. For rating, I think I'm gonna give it like a 7.5. I think it's definitely like rewatchable for me.
Did you watch it
but-
with Shay? By the way,
no, definitely not. No, it's funny. I put it on
She would've
Sunday.
hated this fucking thing.
I went biking Sunday because I got my bike back on Saturday after like a month of doing no physical activity. So I was so dead after we went. It was a long one too, and I just like laid on the couch in the AC like all day drinking water and just like fading in and out of naps. I was so tired, but I put Predator on, and I saw like 65% of the movie. Because I was, like I said, I was just fading it out. So I rewatched it today actually from start to finish because I loved a lot of those El Scorpio scenes along some other ones. But I did not see like the sex scene at all in my initial viewing. So today watching it blew my mind. It was because again, like I said, like the audio, I'm like, oh, we're gonna get like another Predator or something. No, just very aggressive moans and just some hardcore sex, but. Yeah, no, I think it's great. I really like the Predator. He was in the Predator. I almost said he was in it. He was really good in it. And
I think the Predator was in it. He really delivered his best performance this go around.
And yeah, like his gadgets and stuff was better than this one. So 7.5, solid movie.
He had that like breathing mask too that he was using on the roof. That was super cool when he was like really
Yeah.
injured, just like a way
Yeah.
of recovering. Very cool
Absolutely.
stuff.
I love those details. You know, like not necessary to have all those little details in it, but I like them. Beautiful. Let's.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Predator 2 retrospective. We will be back with Predators, which is, I think, going to be another very interesting retrospective. So until then, not be boring.
Bye bye.
Peace.